Facebook. Tony Gaskins here, checking in. I'm on the road, kind of doing a little business this week on the road, and got a little downtime, relaxing. Holiday weekend coming up, so my wife gonna come out and meet me. But figured I'd try this Facebook Live again. You know, this is a cool little feature when you get a chance to use it. Hey, Molly, Bori, Tina, Carter, Olympia, Lakeisha, how y'all doing? Thank y'all for joining me. Katrina, Shauna, do y'all have a job? Shakara, or are y'all at work on the phone? Oh, somebody in Scotland. So what time is it in Scotland? Wow, in Scotland. Pamela, Lucy. Where the guys at? I guess the guys, hiding out, watching, being quiet. Lucretia, Candy, LaShondra. You know what I was just thinking as I was looking online, and it looked like I seen a celebrity breakup, and it got me to thinking on this relationship tip and how we get caught up. We get caught up in love. Somebody, Lazarito, say stop snitching. Boy, please. Boy, hush. Coach Derek, how you doing? One of my fellas in here. And I was thinking about this relationship, the relationship struggle, the relationship journey, what we all go on, and how sometimes we want love so bad. We want love so bad that we'll put up with so much. And we go back and forth, and we're in a situation to where we get done wrong, then we do wrong, we lash out, we act out. I see New York, California, Bahamas, how y'all doing? And then they respond, they act out towards us, and the next thing you know, it becomes a tug of war. And I was watching, I seen this celebrity relationship to where the young lady, she was with the guy, I think he was like pro athlete, and they were together, and then I guess he did something and she got mad and she went off, and then she left, and then she came back, and then when she came back, then he, broke up with her and got back together again, then got engaged, then got pregnant, and then looked like they broke up again. And I'm like, man, what's going on? But you know what? That's what we get to see in the media. But how often do we see that in our neighborhoods, in our everyday life, where we see people who are in these relationships? Some of you on this video might be in that type of relationship. Okay, see somebody in Trinidad, Australia. Man, this Facebook reach all around the world. Egypt, nah, you lying now. You lying, Miriam. You ain't in no Egypt now. That's, wow, around the world. And then, you know what? We get tied up in these toxic relationships, and we forget our self-worth. We forget our own self-respect. We give it up, and we feel like that if we're gonna have love, we gotta go through all of this. And sometimes we let friends and family tell us that we gotta suffer in love. Now, I tell you the truth, it probably, I tell you the truth, it was 2 times that my wife had to send me a message in our relationship. 2 times that she had to send me a message. And I say that to say, and I was 21 or 22 the first time, and then 23 the second time. Now I'm 31. Since I was 23, my wife hasn't had to send me another message. And around that time, it probably I had to send her a message about, maybe she was 23, and now she's 29. So it's been 6 years since we've had to send that type of message. And what that showed me is that we are capable, as human beings, we are capable of setting standards for our life and making the person that we're with live up to our standards. As long as these standards are real, they're realistic, and it's connected to your heart, we are capable of setting standards. And I also realize as humans that we are capable of living up to these standards. As a man, a lot of men cheat. So we could easily say every man cheats. No man could be faithful all his life. No man could be faithful forever. So you expect one man to just sleep with one woman for the rest of his life if he gets married in his early 20s? And society and people will tell us, one of my clients told me, when she was like, I've never met a faithful man. I was like, well, you talking to one. I'm faithful to my wife. I said, I'm not having an affair on my wife. I say, when I was young and dumb, first 2 years of marriage, I was in my head getting ready to slip up and act a fool, but I got it together. And she was like, that ain't gonna last long. That ain't gonna last forever. I say, well, we're gonna have to see. But one thing I realized is that we have the ability to change. We have the ability to grow. We have the ability to learn. We have the ability to do what's right. And so you got to think about this thing now. You got to think about this thing, and you got to ask yourself, do I know what I want? Do I know what I deserve? And am I willing to walk away if the person I'm with doesn't want to give me that? If the person I'm with shows me that they don't love me, that they don't respect me, am I willing to walk away? Somebody say, why does the man cheat? Why does the man cheat? Somebody say, there is no faithful man out there. And see, this is what we go through. This is what we go through, and this is what we start to believe. And so people start to think, and a lot of people really, really think that. You really think that. And so we get caught up. We get caught up in these toxic relationships thinking that it can't be better, thinking that we can't grow to another level, thinking that we can't have the highest level of love, thinking that we can't have real love. And that's the problem. Thinking that you can't have a love without arguing, without fussing, without fighting, without cheating, backbiting, control, deceit. To think that you can't have that type of love will forever keep you in toxic relationships that drain you and that hinder you from your full potential. Somebody else said they got a faithful man. It does exist. That's awesome. Somebody said I stayed because it was my fault. Women cheat too. And I believe women cheat too. Let me ask y'all, why do women cheat? Anybody? Young lady asked, why does a man cheat? Now see, for a man, men, we're wired sexual beings to replenish the earth. So the sex drive in a man is much greater in a man than in a woman. You really, and think about this, anybody ever been in a relationship, for y'all ladies ever been in a relationship, and you can be honest about this, and not one of them kiddie play relationships, but think about how many times, ladies, especially you wives, how many times your man has wanted sex, and it's like spur of the moment, middle of nowhere, and you like, what? I don't feel like having sex. I'm tired. Think about that, ladies. How many times that has happened um, in your relationship, because a man's sex drive is so great, whereas a woman has a sex drive and can be turned on and all of that, but a woman, it takes time. It takes a connection, unless she's been stripped of her innocence and things at a young age and just has lost respect and value of sex. But normally a woman, she has to, it takes time. She has to be in the mood. She has to have a feeling. As a man, we created to where we have to have sex, and that urge is so strong, because if it was weak, humans would cease to exist. Now, and somebody say people have different reasons. That is true. It's a million and one reasons when you look at it. Now, people answer about why women cheat. And I saw one that said women cheat because we lack affection or attention. The young lady who said it, she said emotional detachment. Y'all answering it right. I think women cheat for the wrong reasons, just to hurt her man when he did it to her before. hmm Remind me about that celibate question. Now, see, all of the answers that I'm reading about women cheating, none of them say just because. Just because she was bored. Now, there may be some instances where a woman cheats just because, but we speaking the majority. We speaking on average. On average, a woman cheats because in her mind the relationship is already over, and she's looking for an exit strategy. So in her mind, it's done, and she's getting ready to move on. But circumstance and situation has kept her in that relationship, whether they're living together, whether she's afraid if she breaks up with him, he gonna hurt her, whether she's afraid to tell friends or family. And a lot of times, on average, that's what it is. It's over. He's not giving her attention. He's treating her wrong. He's dogging her out. Does that make it right? No. Is that her excuse? Her explanation? Most oftentimes, yes. That emotional detachment, as someone said. Now, the crazy thing about it, and then Lazarito is a bitter man in here. Hush, Lazarito. He's talking about some women just no good, and that is the truth. But what makes a no good woman? And see, that's what I'm all about, accepting responsibility. And grown women, if you no good, you do have to accept responsibility. But one thing that I've noticed about women, if you give her a good dad, she's not a no good woman. If you give her a good brother, she's not a no good woman. If you give her a good boyfriend, a good husband, she's not a no good woman. There's women who we have seen who have operated in occupations that some people consider to be the scum of the earth. And we've seen some of those women go from that to being a wholesome wife and mother, because love changed her. Because she was created for love, and love changed her. Now, on the flip side, when we look at men, you may know a man, and this is where we have to understand the difference between the mental makeup, the biology of a man and a woman. Sometimes you may see a man who was raised with good parents, had good examples, and yet he still cheats on his woman because he can't control that sexual urge that's inside of her. He can't that's inside of him. He can't control that sexual urge, so he will cheat on a good woman. Now, how many, and this happens on both sides now, it does happen on both sides, but we have to understand the difference between the two and what leads us to these behaviors. Because there are some women who cheat on good men. There are men who cheat on good women. So it happens both ways. But when you start to see and you start to understand the breakdown and what pushes them to that point, sometimes men could do it for no reason. Sometimes a man, you cheat, and you're like, why did you cheat? And you're like, I don't know. I just was bored. I just wanted something different. I just wanted something new. I just wanted a new feeling. Whereas a woman, in coaching, and I coach women every day as a life coach, where they could be completely honest, 100% transparent. And I know that these women are being completely honest, 100% transparent, because I've coached women who said they've slept with over 50 men. Coach women who told me what sexually transmitted diseases they have. Coach women who told me when they cheated, if they cheated, how they cheated. But the excuse was never, I've never heard a woman say, I cheated because I was bored and just wanted something new. You know, unless one case where the guy, he couldn't have sex no more, had a stroke, and the lady needed sex. She felt like she needed sex, but that was just one case. But typically it's because it was over. He didn't respect me. It was done. He was doing his thing. We weren't sleeping together, so we was like living together for the sake of the kids, but we had moved on. Whereas on the flip side, you hear men, and sometimes, as men, we just like, I was bored. I just wanted to see something new, feel something new. And you have to think about that. The difference in the two people. We are not the same. And some people try to say we're the same, but we're wired different. Men and women, our brains, we're wired different. Our biology is different. It's totally different. Somebody say Real Love University helped them. I thank you for taking the Real Love University. If you haven't taken the Real Love University, make sure you join it before it's full. It starts February 2nd. So go to my site right now, TonyGaskins.com/real love, or TonyGaskins.com/courses, and you will see that course is 7 weeks, and I'm teaching intense and deep, and I do a Q&A. So I teach for 30 minutes, and then I do a 30-minute Q&A every week for 6 weeks, and then the 7th week is just a full Q&A. So that's 7 hours. If you did 7 hours of coaching, even at $100 an hour, that's $700. This course is only $97. So please sign up today before it fills up. We have to cap it so that everybody has the opportunity to ask questions. So it's not a course that 1,000 people could take. We typically like to stay around 40 people. So grab your spot before it's gone. Back to what I was saying, and I saw another question come in that says, will a man be celibate with a woman? If a woman is celibate, will a man be celibate? Ebony say real love doesn't exist. Yes, it does, Ebony. I would not be sitting here wasting my time talking if it didn't exist. I would not dedicate my whole life to real love if it didn't exist. See, for some people, talking about love and relationships is a gimmick. It's a gimmick. You see a lot of these guys on Facebook, they doing these relationship videos, and it's a gimmick because they're not living it. It's like, how long you been married, my boy? What woman you loving? Who you got real love with? What relationship you in? What woman you treating good? But for me, real love changed my life because I got married when I was 23 years old. I'm going on 9 years of marriage. So I'm going on 9 years of marriage, and when I met my wife, I was in the streets. I was hustling. I was selling drugs. I was lost. She told me, she spoke into my life and told me that that wasn't me. I told her I was going to change. I decided to change, and when I married her, I went back to the streets. When I went back to the streets, she left me. She didn't condone that. She didn't enable that behavior. She left me. And I realized that I really had to make a change if I wanted to be with this woman. I made an honest change in my life, and I started using my natural gifts. And her love for me and our love together with God in the center of that love, it changed my whole life. Now I went from a drug dealer and a college dropout to a celebrity life coach for major organizations and companies, and traveling the world as a speaker, as a best-selling author. Real love changed my life. So if you can love yourself and set standards for yourself and require the person who you are loving to love themselves the way you love yourself, and make sure that if they're going to be with you, that they love you the way you need to be loved. If you do that, love will change you. If two people are committed and two people want to love one another, love will change you. Love will change your life. Now, somebody asked the question, will a man be celibate? Will a man be abstinent for a woman? And yes, a man will. I coach men who have a lot of money, have a lot of status, who can have any woman, and they have met a woman that they love and care for, and they waited on her until marriage. It's not easy. Things are complicated, you know. It's less complicated when both people have already had sex, because now they know what sex is like and they know how to find the chemistry because they know their way around the bedroom. When it's a virgin and then you meet a man who's already had sex, he's not a virgin, that's when things get a little complicated, because a virgin female, it's going to take her a good amount of time before she's really, really comfortable in the bedroom, and that's where some men have issues with it. But I can say, if you have real love, then the sex gonna be amazing regardless, because it's mental before it's physical. It's all mental before it's physical. The largest sexual organ is the brain, not the vagina, not the penis. It's the brain. So when you have real love and you hear, the sex gonna be amazing. You just got to, do what it do, and God gonna make sure the way He created love, that it's going to be great. Don't know how to love. So say some women don't know how to love, don't know what they need, period. And you know what? Love is innate. Love is innate. And ask yourself, if you could write the rules for love, if you could write the rules for love, how would it look? How would it look if you could write the rules for love, your relationship? And I would say, I don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be cheated on. I don't want to be yelled at. I don't want to be cursed at. I don't want to be hit on. I don't want to be deceived. So those are my standards for love. If I'm writing the rules for love, and guess what? That's all possible. My wife has never yelled at me. She's never yelled at me. She's never cursed at me. She's never called me out of my name. She's never tried to beat on me. She's never cheating on me, lying to me, deceiving me. She told little white lies. But nothing that was major, just human stuff. So I realized my standards for love, how I want to be treated, is possible. She says she want a man that's going to give her some time, love and attention, affection, that's going to be 100% faithful to her. Guess what? I'm giving her that. So her goals for love, she's receiving that. And so that's what you have to realize, that love is innate. Love is innate. And if you can take and you can set that standard, you may have to push away 100 people. You might got to cut off 100 people in the first week of dating them before you meet that one person. Seen somebody say something about a guy letting his mom disrespect his wife. And that's one thing that a lot of men that we do wrong. And that's one thing about love. When you get with that person, when you in a relationship, nothing means more than that person. When you get married. Now, when you dating, you building, you growing. But when you make that commitment until death do us part, nothing comes before that person that you're with. My mother, she told me out of her mouth, she said, boy, you sure take that scripture in the Bible that says a man will forsake his mother and father and cleave to his wife. She said, you sure take that serious, because she knows that she doesn't come before my wife. My sister doesn't come before my wife. My dad doesn't come before my wife, because God gave Adam Eve. And that when you get married, he say, love your wife the way Christ loved the church. And because of that commandment, I realize that nothing comes before my wife. That everybody else got to take a ticket in line. Even my blood that I grew up with, because this is the covenant that God intended. That's the most important covenant between a man and a woman, husband and wife, because that is what replenishes the earth. That's what renews the cycle of life. And if we don't take care of that, and if we don't build that foundation, then we fail. We fail. She said, everything is possible. It's just your thinking that needs to be changed. She right. She right about that. Somebody preaching. I ain't see the name, though. Hey, I got a few more minutes on here. I don't want to be on here too long. People look at me like I'm crazy. Tony ain't got no life. Tony's sitting on Facebook Live all day. We also want a man that's faithful socially. Someone they dated. I can't remember that. Oh, I think she was asking, should you be friends with somebody? Should a man be friends with a female that they dated before? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because you playing with fire. You playing with fire. I don't have any female friends. And the reason being is because I'm a human and she's a human. And you can't put anything past humans. You can't put nothing past humans. She got a heart. I got a heart. I'm going to be upset some days. She going to be upset some days. I'm going to be thirsty some days. She going to be thirsty some days. So if I got this female friend and we always conversing and I'm taking all my business that me and my wife going through to this female, guess what? That's going to cause some problems. It might not cause problems right away, but eventually it might be a year in, might be 2 years in, might be 3 years in, but eventually those innocent conversations, those innocent dinners, those innocent text messages gonna turn into an affair. So don't play with fire. Do not play with fire. And my wife will not have a male friend. I don't care if he say he gay. You still ain't gonna be her friend, because you might want to be straight one day. And you turn straight and we both going, I'm going to prison, you going to the grave. So ain't none of that. Now colleagues, business, strictly business, that's totally different. And okay, yeah, you talking to somebody of the opposite sex in your phone and you married, the phone open. The phone open. Oh, y'all talking? You talk in front of me. If I'm on the phone, my wife could read my phone, anything that's in my phone. Any conversation I'm having with a female, one of my business associates or my clients, she could read the whole thing. She could read it if it's in that text message, so that she could see. It ain't no funny business. Same thing with her phone. She got my password, I got her password. Because when you married, you won. Ain't no hiding. If you got to hide something, you ain't doing right. The lady say, do you think it's a sign of low self-esteem where I say my wife can't have male friends? No, it's not in low self-esteem. Because I know he can't outdo what I'm going to do. But what it is this wisdom. Why you going to play with fire and expect not to get burned? Why I'm going to set my wife up for temptation? Why I'm going to set that man up for temptation? Even if my wife is strong, he could be so tempted one day that he go crazy. He could be so tempted one day because my wife's so fine and sexy and amazing. This man might turn into a Lifetime movie. That's wisdom. That ain't low self-esteem. So don't let nobody trick you into think. Because I know I'm a good man. I know what I do for my wife. I outperform every husband that I've ever met. That's my goal. So I know for a man to take my wife from me, he gonna literally have to turn into God. He'll literally have to be Jesus come back on earth. That's who she'll leave me for. But other than that, I know he ain't gonna treat her better than I'm treating her in every aspect, in every area. So you gotta think about that. But at the same time, it's wisdom. Don't set yourself up for failure. Don't set yourself up for temptation. Because this man might become so obsessed with my wife that he loosen the knobs on my tires. I'm on the road going 80. Next thing you know, my tire come off and I'm dead. And we on a Lifetime movie. You see what I'm saying? So you got to think about that. It's somebody say just being respectful. It's a respect thing. It's boundaries. We human beings. Almost 90% of affairs happen from two people said they was platonic friends. You want a platonic friend? First week or two you was platonic friends, but y'all was plotting. Y'all, because see, the danger about having friends of the opposite sex is that you build on friendship, and that the more you communicate is the more you fall in love. The more you communicate, the more you fall in love. See, the thing about the difference with a relationship is a lot of times sex gets involved, kissing and hugging gets involved. So that sex and that lust starts to cut into the real love. It starts to cut into that genuine bond. But see, when you have a friend of the opposite sex, y'all are in your mind saying that we're going to be faithful to our partners. So you're not kissing, you're not hugging, you're not doing any of that for maybe 6 months or a year, maybe 2 years. So what you essentially do is you fall in love. You fall in real love with this so-called friend. And then the next thing you know, when things get rocky in your relationship, now this love what y'all have between you and your platonic friend, it can turn physical real quick. Somebody say, can long distance work? Yes, it can, but that man got to be committed. He got to be committed. He got to be focused. If it's a man that smoke weed, drink alcohol, go to the club, don't believe in God, long distance can't work. He got to be one of the most disciplined creatures that you've ever met for a long distance relationship to work with a man, because of the way a man is wired, because of the way we built. The lady say, she was telling her friend to listen to me. Her friend say she can't listen to me because she don't think I'm giving true information. That woman crazy. That woman crazy. Anybody with some sense know I'm telling the truth. It ain't a man on here can tell me I'm lying. I know I ain't lying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, I'm dead as a doorknob. I don't have no reason to lie. What am I lie for? What I'm going to tell you a half-truth for? That don't make no sense. My ultimate goal, this is my ultimate goal, and this is why I do this. And y'all going to see the difference. You're going to see the difference. Everybody that's watching right now, 2,000 people, you're going to see the difference between me and every other person that speak on love and relationships. I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna see the difference. For the last 3 years, I've been paying out of my pocket to take the real love seminars around the world, losing money in almost every city, breaking even in some, and profiting in some. But the profit margin is not big enough for you to hang your hat on. That's why you seen Steve Harvey write a book on relationships and never do a tour. Because you got to be truly dedicated and committed and sold out to this message. It ain't no money in it. It ain't no money in it. Me and my wife own 7 companies. So a lot of times people be on here, oh, you making your money from relationships. No, it ain't no money in it. If I do a course with 40 people in it, that's $4,000. You can't live off $4,000. If I do that course about 3 times a year. That's $12,000. Can't live off $12,000. But see, one thing, the only reason why I do this, the reason why I do this, and anybody, if it's anybody on here who know me from when I grew up, from when I was young, they'll tell you, Tony was quiet. Tony was quiet unless he's around his friends. But Tony was quiet. Tony didn't talk. He wasn't a bad kid. They'll tell you that. And the reason why I say that to say is I didn't choose to be a speaker. It chose me. I didn't choose to do what I'm doing. It chose me. Because when God give you a certain wisdom on something and he push you into purpose, you can't run from it. That's why this year I'm doing the year of change with that group. And if you didn't sign up for the year of change, it's working with me all year, 48 lessons. I think we got like 12 spots open. And the whole year, every week, you get a video from me that's not anywhere else online. And then once a month, we do a live Q&A. So for my year of change people that's on here, thank you. God bless you. I think we got like 12 spots left. So if you want to sign up for the year of change, it's $350 for the entire year. You working with your own life coach, a video every week on life, love, or business. It's different topics. Just email support@TonyGaskins.com. All right, Jenna, she say lunch is over. She got to go. Email support@TonyGaskins.com. Hey, I got y'all on y'all lunch break. But I'm out here by myself. My wife don't get out here. You know, I'm working in another city doing some consulting for a company and coaching their clients. You know, coaching their employees. You know, and that just goes to show you, you know, what can happen when you sell out to your purpose and when you're doing what God called you to do. Vicky, she say, tell me about a long distance relationship again, please. What I said, I like that. Thank you. Thank you. It was the therapist say she used some of my tools. I really appreciate you sharing that with me. God bless you. She said, tell me about the long distance relationship again. In the long distance relationship, the man has to be 100% committed. We got to understand that the man is the head. I know a lot of the day, you know, with the feminists and all of this, don't want to hear this, but the man is the head. He is the leader. And the woman, she is not the tail. She's the backbone. She's his strength. But if the head is dead, the body gonna die. If the head is not right, nothing else gonna function right. If your brain dead, ain't nothing happening. You're a vegetable. So the man has to be locked in. He has to be committed. He has to be focused. He got to be locked in. He got to be focused. So what I mean, this man has to be disciplined. Somebody said they missed the beginning. These videos, they're live, but when I'm done with it, it archives on my page. It goes to my page. And then at the top of my page, you can click the notifications where you hit like at on my page. Beside it, you could select notifications to notify you when I go live. Or on the video, you can, beside the video, it should be somewhere you can click to notify you when I go live. And so the long distance is one of the hardest things, but see, it's a gift and a curse, because the good thing about it is with long distance, you build on real love. You build on friendship, which is a part of the strongest foundation for a relationship is friendship. Whereas a lot of times when you in person, you begin to build on lust. And when you start to build on lust, you kind of cut out on the friendship and the real talk. So you have to build on friendship. And so when you do a long distance relationship, like me and my wife, we long distance every week. We get to see each other, and that may not be your case, but when we long distance, what we do is we get on FaceTime. So when I'm done working and I get in the hotel, we get on FaceTime, and we FaceTime until it's time to go to sleep, until we fall asleep. She passing out, I'm passing out. And in that time, we renewing the love. We building on real love. We building on real love. And you building a real friendship because you just talking. And you can't cut it short with sex and kissing and all of that. I'm going to come back to the Bahamas. I was in the Bahamas, but one thing about speaking in the islands, the marketing in the islands is terrible. I don't know. We got to figure something out. I spoke in Bermuda. I spoke in Turks and Caicos. I spoke in Bahamas. I spoke in both parts of the Bahamas, Nassau and Freeport. But people just don't get the word in them islands. I don't know what be wrong. And I would literally come back from speaking and people say, oh, we need you in the Bahamas. I'm like, I just was there yesterday. Somebody said if the man doesn't have the capacity to be the head, you got a problem. You are right. She said, can you do a video on rebuilding a relationship after the trust has been broken? I tell you what, in the Real Love University, I go real deep into that. I can't really go deep into it online because it goes much deeper than what I can do here. But sometimes you need to hit fast forward instead of rewind in your life, or just hit the play button instead of rewind. Someone said, can I come to Malaysia? I would love to come to Malaysia. She said to speak to us Asians. Let's make Malaysia happen. He said competing for good men. One lady say, and I want to touch on this before I leave. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all an hour till these numbers drop all the way off. I'm thinking there's something on my, there's a gray hair on me, getting old. But a young lady said it's more players out here, and that women are competing for men. I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna find you a good man. For one, you're not gonna find him, he's gonna find you, but you're going to attract him. And you're gonna attract him by who you become. I was looking at these thirst traps today. All these pictures that women, some women post where they got all kind of thigh out, all kind of booty out, all kind of cleavage out. All these selfies trying to show every little angle, playing in the hair and doing all this with the camera. And, licking lips and, cleavage up and all of this. I'm going to tell you, the new thirst trap is reading a book. Post your book of the day, your book of the week. Post your yoga class, your spin class. Post your business meeting with your team, with your board that you're putting together for the website that you're starting, for the company that you're starting. post that. Post something that shows that you are becoming a different type of woman, that you're not like every other woman. Because, see, so many women looking the same that men can't tell the difference between the real and the fake. And the real women are getting so tired that real women are becoming thirsty. And then the thirst is turning into dehydration. And then when you get dehydrated, you start just letting it all hang out there. You start acting a fool. You start wanting to do Twitter after dark, talking about your sex fantasies. And you're a good woman, but you're getting weak. You start wanting to post cleavage and post booty, post your back shot, showing your hump on your back, because you're starting to get weak. Because in your mind, you think, quote unquote, hoes be winning. That's what the term they say. And you start to believe that because you see these women get a ring. They get engaged to. Some of them get married to. But what you don't realize is that them women are not attracting good men. They attracting men who gonna go upside their head. They attracting men who gonna cheat on them every week. They attracting men who gonna, dog them out, beat on them, ask them for threesomes, ask them for foursomes. When you see a stripper get married, or a prostitute get married, or an Instagram model get married, I hate to say it, and it's sad, but 9 out of 10 times it's because the guy wants a live-in sex slave. He don't want a wife. He don't want a real woman. He want a live-in sex slave. Because guess what? With a real woman, she gonna be too tired to cook a lot of days. A real woman, she gonna be too tired to have sex. A real woman, she not gonna do a threesome. A real woman, she not trying to hear no threesome, foursome. A real woman probably don't even want to watch porn with you, because she focused on other things. She not being led by sex. She not trying to be your sex slave. She not trying to be your maid in the house. She gonna do what she can do to the best of her ability and expect you to respect her shortcomings the same way she respect your shortcomings. That's a real woman. So when you look and you say hoes be winning, no, they losing, because you don't know what they going through behind closed doors. That man knew what he saw and what he saw in her. And good men don't want broken, hurting, weak, or thirsty women. And no good men don't want a good, strong, classy woman. So don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Don't be jealous of what somebody else got. Don't be jealous of what, hey, look here, it's winter. I'm out here about to start shivering. It's so cold. Ooh, put some heat on here. What you got to do is you got to worry about you. You got to focus on you. You got to work on you. And when you work on you, that's when you will attract not what you want, but what you are. You will attract what you are. And when I say attract what you are, a lot of people get this confused. I don't mean who approaches you. I don't mean who tries to come on to you. I mean who you end up being with, who you end up settling down with. You'll attract what you are. It's going to be some bums approach you. It's going to be, all kind of men coming up to you. But if you're a real woman, you ain't going to settle for a no good man. You ain't going to settle for a man who's not a real man. And so what you see online, don't be jealous of that. Don't be jealous of that if you know that woman is not the type of woman that you want to be. If she posting all this stuff and she carry herself in a certain way, she all in the club, she doing all this, don't emulate her. If you see a happy couple online and they look happy online, and you look at that woman and she looks like a woman of class and a woman of substance, then you could take some lessons from her. Then you can look at her and say, you know what, okay, I respect what she's doing. That's the type of woman I am. I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to stick to what I've been doing because I see it worked out for her. It's going to work out for you too. It's plenty of good men. There's plenty of good men, but you know what? They're waiting to see the real women be separated from the fake women. Because it's a lot of imposters. It's a lot of women who pretending to be a good woman, but really not a good woman. Somebody say, how do you feel about an age difference? It all varies. I can say as a woman, you already more mature than a man of your same age. So what a woman should try to avoid is dating a man younger. If you're dating a man older, it may make sense and it may work out great. But make sure he's not so much older to where when he can no longer move around and travel and get it up, that you're not in the prime of your life. That's what you got to think about. If you want to grow old with somebody, you want to make sure that you're close in age. I'm 31, my wife 29. So when I start to slow down, she's going to start to slow down. But if I was 40 and she 25, we got 15 years apart. So when I'm, 50, when I'm 60, she 35, or 45. And you on two different plans, two different schedules, two different lifestyles. So you got to make sure that you close enough in age that you can really, grow old together. And realize, now if it's real love, you just can't deny it. But sometimes you can be a little picky. Somebody say older men acting just like young men. And in a lot of cases, that's true. And that just goes to show you that some men don't mature. Some men, 40 years old, still acting 20. And so you got to think about that. Hey, this call been pretty good. We're going on about an hour. Still pretty much got everybody on here that's been on here. And I pray that some of you on here who are without a job, that you find a job now. This is pretty soon. And if some of you on the job and you watching this video on the job, God bless you. I hope you keep your job. Or bless you for having such a good job that you can watch a video while you at work. And some of y'all asking some real deep questions, and this is what I want to do, because I can't do these often, just because of other obligations. But I want to invite you today to join the Real Love program, the Real Love University, because it's 7 weeks and it's real talks every Tuesday night, and it's recorded if you miss it. And I go deep. I talk for 30 minutes, and then I do a Q&A to where I open up and I take your questions. And I do that for 6 weeks, and on the 7th week, it's a full Q&A. So like I say, if you did one-on-one coaching, even if the coach was $100 an hour, that's $700. This course is only $97. So it's really, it's just it's a steal. And it's for people who want to. You'll see the course outline and the topics that I speak on. And we touch on a lot of everything, We touch on pretty much everything. Somebody say Patti LaBelle got a man that's 30 plus years younger. And that's all wrong. Because to be honest with you, men aren't even attracted, truthfully, are not even attracted to a woman 30 years older. That don't even make sense. But see, Patty got that money. So, if I was a single man at 30 years old and Oprah 60 for that $1 billion, I walk her down the aisle in a heartbeat. I say that jokingly, but 99% of men will marry Oprah for that money. When it comes down to looks and, body and,
or even personality. A lot of men may not like a certain woman, but if she got enough money, and same thing go the other way around. You see it all the time with women marrying these men, and you look at this man, and he look like the side of a beat up Chevy, and you like, he look like the side of a beat up Chevy. What's she doing with him? But then you see that bank account, and then you realize, oh, that's why she with him. You see a lot of these rappers, a lot of these athletes look like, that's how they look. You don't even have words for them. They just look like, you just want to pray and ask God, why did you do that? Why was you so good to me, Lord? And let this person look like that. Y'all done said that about people, but then you see them with somebody, and then you realize it's for that money. And one thing that I don't realize, like somebody say, that money is not worth it. That money does not keep you warm at night. You can buy all the bags and shoes and clothes and cars and still be unhappy. For women at least, because see, women, you a different kind of creature. See, for men, if a man marries a woman with money, he done came up. You know why? Because he gonna cheat on her anyways. He gonna cheat on her with who he like anyways, and just spend her money on his clothes, cars, and shoes, and that's all he there for. That's all he there for, the money. But see, women, a lot of women, y'all want real love. So after you get enough purses and shoes, and to where your closet full, now you like, you know what? Now I want real love. But hey, just Tony Gaskins. It was good talking to you. You know, I could be on here a couple more hours, but I need to go get me something to eat. I ain't got a lot to do. But God bless you. And February 1st, the life coaching certification program starts. So you could go on my site for you aspiring life coaches. I'm going to give you the blueprint of how I built my coaching business to become a celebrity life coach and a life coach for major organizations. If that's in your heart, that's a desire, join me. It starts February 1st. February 2nd is the Real Love University. So for those of you that you're looking to heal, you're looking to grow, you want to learn real love, you want to rekindle your love, you and your partner, you and your ex, you thinking about working it out, or you single. You single and you want to attract real love, prepare for real love. We touch on every part. And it's just a good all-inclusive course. That starts on February 2nd. So visit my site, TonyGaskins.com/courses. Spelled just like it sounds. Thank you. God bless you. I wanted to do 30 minutes today, but it went on ahead and went an hour. And that's why I want you to understand it's a difference. It's a difference. The anointing makes the difference. Some of y'all know what that means, and some of you don't. But the anointing makes the difference. Anybody could get on here and do a 3-minute video, do a 2-minute video, you know, do a 5-minute video, but the anointing makes the difference. That anointing will take you an hour and still have a whole bunch more wisdom that God want to get out. So I want y'all to start recognizing and realizing the real from the fake, and start to separate the real from the fake. Start to take the insight that you get and start to look at a person's lifestyle. Look at these people that you listening to, because we got a lot of false prophets, got a lot of people that's faking it, got a lot of people that on here and they literally just doing it for the money. It's solely for the money. It's not their purpose. They saw it and thought it looked good. And start paying attention to their lifestyle, how they living, who they married to, who they loving. When the last time you seen a person they loving and treating right? Start paying attention to it, and you're gonna start to see. Don't just listen to everybody you hear. It's a lot of broke business coaches, and it's a lot of terrible, loving, toxic, loving relationship coaches on this line. Start paying attention. You're gonna see. God bless y'all. Hey, his life coaching program is great for for anyone inquiring. Thank you, Miss Pitts. That was a stamp right there. Somebody say it's great. Thank you. God bless y'all.